Yo, man, this your man King Bezos, man. Football is finally fucking back, man. After months of waiting, we are finally back with football, man. Basketball's done and it's over with, but it's actually going to be circling back around. You got baseball still going on, but they're about to hit the playoffs like next month. You got golf, you got soccer, you got high school baseball, high school football, college football, the Olympics. You got all of these different sports going on, man, but fuck all of that, because none of that shit matters when you got the NFL, man, and we're back, baby. We're fucking back. So before I actually get into what I like to do, I actually want to give a special shout out to Beats by Max for that fire ass beat for the intro video. Definitely want to give another special shout out to Evolve crew, definitely that created a hot ass intro video. So I hope that y'all really enjoyed that. Y'all can follow them over on the Instagram. I actually will leave their links over in their bio section. Also want to give another special shout out to my man's B and to my man Zay. You know what I mean? Like they definitely pushed me forward, definitely encouraged me a lot. Definitely start like this YouTube video, man. YouTube channel, like just giving people my that betting sports picks on touchdowns. So what I do is that I actually bet strictly on players scoring touchdowns. I don't do any money lines, any type of spreads, overs, unders, rushing yards, receiving yards. Like I don't do any of that. I actually strictly bet on players scoring touchdowns. I actually did it last year, made a really good killing off of it, you know what I mean? So I know as to what I'm talking about. I also want to give a shout out to that Fanduel, PFF, Number Fire, just to name a few, you know what I mean? Like that's pretty much where I actually get that most of my stats from, at different types of podcasts, articles, shit like that. All of the research that y'all don't want to do, I enjoy doing. Like I love doing that type shit. You know what I mean? So I don't mind doing that shit. All y'all care about is just the picks, the names, and like that's it. So cool. So without further ado, let's actually get it started. So look, the first game that I'm going to talk about is the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Buffalo Bills. So personally speaking, this is more of a defensive game with a few offensive players like that actually could that make a splash. We already know Pittsburgh definitely was one of the best defenses last year, and the Bills definitely were one of the best defensive that units last year as well. But as far as scoring touchdowns, I actually think Najee Harris, running back of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let me tell you why I actually really do think though that Harris actually might score. First of all, he's a running back that's a rookie that was drafted in the first round, and nobody has any game film on. And I'm not talking about fucking preseason, okay? People really don't play that much or up in preseason anyway. You know what I mean? So I actually really wouldn't worry about that. But Najee Harris can actually run the ball very well, and he also can catch the ball really, really well. Last year, the Bills ranked 15th versus the run, so they're average. You know what I mean? And also that they were 16th versus running backs, so they're average. You know what I mean? They actually have a really good front. They actually have really good linebackers, but they really sometimes struggle versus the run. And it's like, as to what do the Pittsburgh Steelers always want to do? They want to run. That's what they want to do. So why not go with it? Yes, I actually understand Pittsburgh offensive line. People have been saying that they're weak and like they're not going to live up to what they should be and shit like that though, because they lost certain players. Okay, fine, cool. But though, if you watch the preseason games, Pittsburgh's offensive line really didn't look that bad. For real. And on top of that, even if Pittsburgh's Pittsburgh's offense breaks down, Roethlisberger is actually going to throw it to Najee Harris anyway. And if you've seen Harris, he actually can break a run fast as shit anyway. So, I actually like that Najee Harris. Also, too, Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. He loves to go with a one running back approach. You look at Le'Veon Bell. All those years he actually snapped. You actually look at James Conner. During that 1 year, he actually snapped, and you had Bell sit out for that 1 year. So recent history actually shows Tomlin likes to go with the one running back, and though that Najee Harris definitely is that guy. On the other side, which is the Buffalo Bills, the one guy that I do like is actually that Stephon Diggs. Now that we know Stephon Diggs was elite last year, like with Josh Allen, man. Like, I mean, even I wasn't expecting for those two to like really have any type of a connection, but they proved so many people wrong. So yes, Diggs is elite. Now, Diggs does have a few things going against him. You know what I mean? He is facing the Steelers' first pass defense, but Steelers were 14th versus wideouts, so they were average versus the wideouts, which is actually interesting. Now note that the Steelers lost Steven Nelson to a free agency. Steven Nelson is actually with the Eagles now, and they lost Mike Hilton, who is over on the Bengals, and they also lost Bud Dupree over to the Titans, which also hurts their pass rush. And I'm going to talk about that Pittsburgh's defense in actually just a few seconds. But other than that, that Pittsburgh really gets Devin Bush back. You know what I mean? He's a really good edge rusher. You know what I mean? Pittsburgh overall really does have a really nice defense with that T.J. Watt, Terrell Edmonds, and that Micah Fitzpatrick and shit like that. So last year, Stephon Diggs actually played Pittsburgh Steelers. It was in week 14. Let me actually give you these stats. Diggs had 14 targets. That's a lot of targets. 14? Crazy. 10 catches and 131 yards and a touchdown. So, I understand that Joe Hayden didn't play. Okay, Joe Hayden's probably their best corner, but he's not really their best corner, and I'm about to tell you why he ain't their best corner. So it shows that Diggs can actually beat this defense, and on top of that, it was in week 14, so they had that Micah Fitzpatrick during that time. So this is not though Diggs is playing them earlier in the season and they didn't have Fitzpatrick. They already had Fitzpatrick during that time anyway. And then Diggs still burnt them. So that's saying a lot. We already know Diggs is one of the fastest wideouts and in the entire league. So when I also too shout out to Mike Clay over at that ESPN, definitely with his that wideout slash that cornerback matchup cheat sheet though, man. That's definitely great stuff, man. I think if you pay $7 a month for it, you actually can get all of their access. You know what I mean? So that's definitely great. You know what I mean? So when I looked at the numbers, Diggs will be on the right side 38% of the time, and know that he's actually going against Justin Lane. Now Justin Lane, the numbers saying though, right? He actually is a really good corner, and the matchup is a tough matchup. Bullshit. I'll be honest with you. Bullshit. Okay? Ain't no way that Justin Lane is actually going to shut down one of the best receivers up in the entire league. That's definitely bullshit. Diggs plays over on the left side 30% of the time. Now that's where he sees Joe Hayden. And Joe Hayden is actually a really good, solid matchup. Gives up 0.34 fantasy points last year. So that's solid. That's a solid matchup. And you already know that you know, like the Bills, like they're gonna move Diggs around even on the right side, the left side, and also on the slot just to beat the defense. So when he goes over to the slot, 32% of the time he actually sees Cameron Sutton. Now, yeah, Cameron Sutton gave up 0.28 fantasy points last year, so it's kind of like a tough matchup. You know what I mean? But I still believe that Diggs though can actually get to Sutton anyway. Now, of course, you could talk about Gabriel Davis and Cole Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders and stuff like that. You can do all of that. You know what I mean? Fine. You know, but I'm not sold on any of those guys. Most of those guys are like deep threats when it comes with Sanders and then with Davis. Beasley is more of like a short receiver, you know what I mean, and he's getting kind of old. But, you know, like the primary target is really that Stephon Diggs for the most part. Flipping it back over onto the Pittsburgh side, I don't like Chase Claypool. It's going to see a lot of Davius White's going to see a ton of him. Deontay Johnson's probably going to see that Levi Wallace. You know what I mean? Like, those are really two good corners. White's definitely one of the best corners throughout like the entire league. So I'm not banking on for those guys to really do anything per se. But I will take a shot on actually two guys over on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And like, don't laugh when I say this though. You know what I mean? I actually really do think either both of them or actually one of them could like probably pop off. And that is Juju Smith-Schuster. Now, I actually understand Juju. He's the dude's horrible. You know what I mean? He actually can't take, you know, like that number one role. He was a bust. You know what I mean? Definitely was a bust during the year when Brown left. Everybody was expecting for Juju to be the next best thing, and he was horrible. You know what I mean? I understand that. Now you got Claypool, you got Johnson, and you got Harris. Like, I get all of that. You know what I mean? But Juju spends a lot of his time. He actually spends 86%, a lot of his time over in the slot. And where are the Bills weak at? In the slot. He will actually be playing against Teron Johnson. He actually gave up 0.33 fantasy points last year. That is a solid matchup compared to White and that Wallace's that numbers versus wide that, you know, like the that wideouts. So Juju actually has a really good shot at having, like, you know, like Juju has a really good shot over at really having like a really good game come Sunday. And I understand the Bills were 9th versus the pass and they were 7th versus wideouts. But listen, I'm trying to tell you, people like Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Jamison Crowder, those are guys that play the slot. Juju plays the slot, and they torched the Bills last year over in the slot. So I actually really do think Juju has an excellent shot over at scoring a touchdown. Now, yes, I actually understand Roethlisberger is actually old. His arm isn't as young as it used to be. So, yeah, though, he has to throw like those short intermediate routes, and that's fine. Because why? We have seen Juju take a 60, 70 yard to the house. We already have seen it. So it's definitely there. He actually has all of the talent, but it's just that he just got to stop playing around, like stop trying to dance and, you know what I mean, in front of people's logos, and just stop trying to do dumb shit. Like, just focus on football. You know what I mean? Focus on the game, and you'll be great. You'll be great. The other person that I have, which is you also can take a shot on, is Eric Ebron, tight end, Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, listen, I actually get it. For years, Eric Ebron has been on the Lions. He was a bust. He actually went over to the Colts. He had that one great year with touchdown at the touchdowns. I mean, he was fucking balling. You know what I mean? But then he was ass. Then he went over to Pittsburgh. He was ass. You know what I mean? But Bills were 26 versus tight ends last year. And the Bills have two good safeties. They got Jordan Pryor, that Micah Hyde. Those are two really good safeties. And for them to be shitty versus tight ends, I mean, like, to me, like, that's mind-boggling. But, it is as to what it is. I like Eric Ebron to, like, that definitely sneak in for, like, a goal line touchdown. Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to be on Harris, Johnson, Claypool, Juju. Why not go with Eric Ebron? He's a long shot. Definitely is a long shot. Him and Juju are actually long shots. You actually feel great, and if you want to take a shot on them guys, then yeah, I mean, definitely go ahead. But I mean, for me wise, I actually like Harris, and I actually like Diggs to definitely get the job done. For the next game that we're going to be talking about, we actually got the Jets and the Panthers. And woo boy, listen, fade all Jets, man. Fade all Jets. Like, I mean, hey, coaches are saying that Zach Wilson is going to be a top 3-4 quarterback. Yeah, bro, you're just a rookie. You know what I mean? Unless you're like fucking Patrick Mahomes, some shit, then, great. But I've seen this guy play. You know what I mean? It's actually going to take some time. Fade all Jets, man. Definitely fade all Jets. I'm going to tell y'all why. But first, let's actually go over to the other Carolina Panthers side. I don't have to talk much about that Christian McCaffrey. I mean, it's Christian McCaffrey, man. I mean, I don't care if the Jets were like a really good run defense last year. That they had the 14th best run defense, but they ranked 21st versus running backs, and they suck at pass catching running backs. Like, they struggle mightily with that. And what is Christian McCaffrey? He ain't just a runner. He's a pass catching back. So who the fuck's gonna stop him? Nobody. Nobody's not stopping him. You feel me? So I don't have to talk much about him. He's just matchup proof. He's always gonna score a touchdown every week. Whoop-de-doo. No. But it's the wide receivers. That is what I am excited about. Now, I like DJ Moore. I actually really feel like DJ Moore definitely can be one of the best receivers over in the league. But his touchdowns, man, he just doesn't get touchdowns, and that's really irking. That's really irking because he's 24 years old. He's young. He has a bright future. You feel me? Like, but it's just them touchdowns, man. He actually will get you the targets and the yards, but just not touchdowns. My God. But Robbie Anderson. Listen, I'm getting excited for Robbie Anderson. Last year, Robbie Anderson was the best wideout for the Carolina Panthers. Definitely was. And me, I was surprised because I really didn't think Anderson would be the best wideout on the team anyway. But considering the fact that Matt Rule, which was their coach last year, his scheme really fit Robbie Anderson, and that if you actually had Robbie Anderson last year for fantasy, he was really good for fantasy, especially over up in that PPR formats. Definitely was. So Robbie Anderson, let me actually give you this. Robbie Anderson will be on the right side 37% of the time. Who is he going against? Brian Eccles. You're like, who the fuck is Brian Eccles? Well, I'm going to tell you who he is. That motherfucker is a rookie. And you know what wide receivers that have been in the league, and you know as to what they do to rookies. Brian Eccles is 5'11". Robbie Anderson 6'3". Now, what the fuck do you think is actually going to happen? You already know Robbie Anderson is definitely one of the fastest blazing wideouts in like the entire league. Nobody can keep up with him. Real shit. When he goes over to the left side, it's going to see Bryce Hall. Bryce Hall 6'1". He's trash. Okay? That's a good matchup. When he goes to the slot, which would be 32% of the time, it's going to see Javion Guidry. Listen, whoever the fuck he is, I don't give a damn if, you know what I mean, he's a third-year player or a fucking rookie. I don't give a damn. It's a great matchup. all across the board. Everything is screaming. Robbie Anderson, 60, 70-yard bomb touchdown. And guess who his quarterback is? It ain't Teddy Bridgewater, and it damn sure ain't like no fucking Cam Newton, because that nigga is a free agent. It's Sam fucking Darnold. I'm excited about Sam Darnold for this year. I'm going to tell you why. He is going to a team that has tremendous great weapons. Back in New York, they ain't have shit. Even Le'Veon Bell wasn't shit over there. You feel me? Jamison Crowder was alright, though. You know what I mean? Certain games, he was actually alright. But other than that, there was no type of talent over there. And when you have Adam Gase, who was one of the worst coaches in the fucking league, it's horrible, man. It's freaking horrible. I'm so glad that they let him go. I know that the world is so hyped that they let that motherfucker go, man, because he was horrible. So, Sam Darnold is playing against his old team. It's the revenge narrative. That's the same thing with Robbie Anderson. Everybody's going to say the revenge narrative. Robbie Anderson's going to shit on them niggas. I'm expecting for him to shit on them niggas. Robbie Anderson, I actually hope, though, bro. You know what I mean? You are watching this shit. I'm expecting for you to shit on these fucking Jets, man. Seriously, shit on these fucking Jets. I'm expecting for the DJ Moore to have a solid game. Christian McCaffrey's going to do whatever he wants to do anyway. It really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's just matchup proof anyway for the most part. But I actually really love Robbie Anderson to actually score a touchdown. That the matchup is terrific all across the board for him. You know what I mean? And you can't go wrong. On the flip side for the Jets, now I understand I said fade all Jets. And I really do mean it. Like, fade all Jets. You feel me? Like, fade the receivers. Just fade the running back. But if I had to choose somebody on the Jets, if I had to choose somebody just to maybe score a touchdown, I'm looking at Corey Davis. Now, yes, Corey Davis had a breakout year last year. Didn't get to 1,000 yards, but he was very close. You know what I mean? But in my opinion, I don't really think that Corey Davis is a number one wideout. That's just me personally. You know what I mean? Like, he's more of a secondary option because he proved that last year. But to be like a number one receiver, I just don't see it, man. Because you're going to be going up. Because, you know, like, you're going to be playing against so many other good corners, you know what I mean? Number one corners, you know what I mean? So they're always going to be trailing anyway. He could get shut down, shit like that. So fuck all that. But that his matchup versus Deontay Jackson, first of all, that's a good matchup. Deontay Jackson gave up 0.35 fantasy points last year. That's actually a really good matchup. You know what I mean? And also, Corey Davis is actually 6'3". Jackson's 5'11". So there's a height difference, and even if they get down to the red zone, which they probably will a couple times, I could see Wilson trying to get Davis the ball for a nice little touchdown. And if you want to take a shot, rookie Elijah Moore. You know what I mean? Jamison Crowder may play. He actually may not play because of COVID. We're not really sure. You know what I mean? So we're going to have to wait till game day to actually really find that out. And if Crowder doesn't play, then, you know, take a shot at Elijah Moore, man. I mean, you never know. He actually could get a 50 to 40-yard touchdown or some shit by Zach Wilson. I don't know. But basically, that my main play really is Robbie Anderson just to score a touchdown. The next game, the Jaguars versus the Houston Texans. Oh, my God. Listen. This right here is about to be murder for what the fuck I'm actually about to say, man. The Houston Texans, they will be the worst team over in football. I think Fanduel probably had them at under 4 wins. Goddamn. I would be surprised if they get 1 win. My Lord, are they just going to be horrible. The Sean Watson, he ain't playing, so he's out of there. So their quarterback is actually Tyrod Taylor. Garbage. Straight garbage. They got tons of running backs. Who knows who the fuck's starting there? Brandon Cooks is like their best wideout, but then they wind up trading him probably somewhere. Who actually knows? So they don't have nobody on offense. And defense, oh my God. Let's actually get started. Jacksonville. First of all, I already like Trevor Lawrence. Now, yes, Trevor Lawrence is a quarterback. He can definitely score with his legs. Same thing with Josh Allen, which, I actually forgot to mention. Josh Allen is actually always a bet to that score a touchdown every week. But whatever. Trevor Lawrence can also score a touchdown too, whatever. But James Robinson, the same way that I love Robbie Anderson, I love James Robinson. I'm going to tell you why. Texans, 32nd versus what? 32nd versus the run. Dead last. Horrible. Texans were 31st against running backs. Second to last. The Texans don't have nobody that can even tackle. I honestly think you could put college players on that team. They would do better than them niggas. Real shit. Just flat garbage. So, last season, Texans played the Jaguars twice. In week 5, James Robinson had 13 rushes for 48 yards. The dude didn't score a touchdown, but he had 7 targets and 5 receptions for 22 yards. That's encouraging. 7 targets. That's encouraging. So that lets me know he actually can catch the ball. People will look his way to, catch the ball. But in week 9, he had 25 rushes, 99 yards, and a touchdown. So that lets you know, even if he isn't getting it done on the ground, he's going to get it done through the air, and also that he is like their goal line back. And the best part is, Travis Etienne is done for the year. He's out. You feel me? Now, yeah, I understand that they brought in what the hell's his name? That Carlos Hyde. Whoop-de-doo. They brought in Carlos Hyde. So, will there be games where Hyde steals a goal line touchdown from Robinson? Yes. Expect it, because that's what happens when it comes to football. But this is week 1. Week 1, you always go with the starters and the stars in week 1. You go safe. You don't never try to get cute. This is not week 10. This is not week 15 where they're resting players and shit like that. No, this is week 1. You actually go with the top-notch guys. Oh, all right? So, with no Travis Etienne, Carlos Hyde is going to probably take a touchdown or 2 from, Robinson throughout the season and shit. But versus the Texans, Robinson's going to shit on this fucking defense. I'm expecting him to score. So, Robbie Anderson and James Robinson, those are 2 guys that I'm telling you that are definitely going to be scoring a touchdown. Now, though, Fanduel doesn't have the odds up, which let me check that out now for you guys, because I've been on these odds a lot here, and only certain odds came up, so not all of them. No, the Jets, Panthers did not come up, and the Jaguars and them did not come up. So that's a bummer. Hopefully they come up later on throughout the day, or they may come out tomorrow. Probably tomorrow though, But for the most part, when I get the odds, I will definitely let people know via Twitter and on the Instagram. Also too, on that, by the way, you guys like as to what you are hearing. If you actually like the that video, definitely like the that content. Definitely follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at King Bezos. That is KINGBEZOS. I'm always active. Definitely, if you want to send me a DM message, I actually will respond to you. You know what I mean? You want to see all of my picks, parlays, shit like that. You actually can see that there too, either on like my story or on over on the post. And definitely like, comment, and subscribe over to my YouTube channel, man. If you definitely like as to what you heard so far. I actually know it's a lot though, so I'm trying to run through everything, much as possible that for you guys, because I know all y'all care about is just as to who are you picking, I don't give a fuck about none of this shit, I actually get it, but this is for people who actually really enjoy like this type of breakdown type that type of content, I do this for y'all, so I definitely appreciate any type of support. y'all actually get me and shit. So yeah, Robbie Anderson and James Robinson, those are two guys that I really love to, that definitely score a touchdown. Take a shot on Marvin Jones. Texans were 25th versus the pass, and the Jags were 16th versus wideouts. Now, that the Texans just traded Bradley Roby, who was one of their top corners over there. So that Roby's with the Saints right about now. So we'll see how that plays out. Jones will be on the right side 38% of the time, and he will see Vernon Hargreaves, who actually gave up 0.46 fantasy points last year. And I'll be honest with you, Vernon Hargreaves, he's horrible. He's fucking trash. And Marvin Jones is 6'2". Vernon is only 5'10". You know what I mean? So even if that they put DJ Chark over there, DJ Chark is actually one of the fastest receivers. He can burn Hargreaves easily. You know what I mean? So they like to switch Jones, Chenault, and Chark all over, like like the formation. So somebody's going to get the Vernon Hargreaves. You know what I mean? And Marvin Jones is one of those annoying wideouts that at the end of the game, when you think it's all said and done, Jacksonville's moving down the field, and Detroit's moving down the field, and Cincinnati's moving down the field, and you just see Marvin Jones score a touchdown. And it's like, what the fuck, Marvin Jones? And then for fantasy, he winds up having like a good 16 fantasy points, and you're like, well, what the fuck? How the hell did that shit happen? You feel me? So Marvin Jones is definitely one of those guys who has a terrific matchup. Chenault too, of course. And then also with DJ Chark, they all have really good matchups. But for me personally, I just believe that Marvin Jones has a good shot, definitely scoring a touchdown. The next game that I'm looking at, also too, fade all Texans, by the way. I don't know if I said that before, but fade all Texans. Like, we ain't worried about none of them motherfuckers. The next game is the Arizona Cardinals and the Tennessee Titans. Now, this is going to be a very good, high-scoring game. If I was betting overs, I would book in that over so fast, because this is going to be this is definitely going to be crazy, okay, for an over. So, I don't need to talk about Derrick Henry. I don't need to talk about that. Ran for over 2,000 yards, rushing yard king, you know what I mean? Like, we already know what Derrick Henry's going to do. He's always bound to score a touchdown. Same thing with Christian McCaffrey. You don't need to talk much about him. But let's go over to the flip side first, because I want to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. Now, yes, Kyler Murray is always bound to actually score a touchdown, like with his legs. You know what I mean? I don't care, because he already said on the earlier from this year, I don't want to run. I want my run to be a luxury. Nigga, fuck all that shit. You know what I mean? Running backs ain't your running backs really ain't all that good. And your other wideouts other than Hopkins really ain't all that good. So your ass is definitely going to be fucking running, nigga. Like, I mean, real shit is definitely going to be fucking running. Okay? So he is a good bet to actually score a touchdown, each week. But let's actually look at DeAndre Hopkins. Now, I like DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins definitely is actually on that one of my favorite wideouts. And I did some research because in 2019, this was when Hopkins played for the Houston Texans. And everybody knows, Hopkins has had terrible quarterback play even before Deshaun Watson. So in 2019, when he played the Titans, this was in week 15. He had 8 targets, 6 receptions, and 119 yards. That's a beast of a stat line. Real shit. He didn't score, but history is showing he can do damage versus like these Titans. Definitely can do damage. Cardinals were 22nd versus the pass last year, and the Titans were 31st versus wideouts. Titans lost Dory Jackson over at the Giants. They lost Malcolm Butler over on the Arizona Cardinals. And they lost Desmond King, who is now over on the Houston Texans. So they lost 3 of their good corners, but they're trash corners for real. But the Titans added Janoris Jenkins. Now, I mean, Janoris Jenkins, it's a solid matchup. It's not the best matchup, you know what I mean? But it is a decent one too, you know what I mean? So can the Hopkins definitely shit on Jenkins? Yes. Hopkins spends a lot of his time on the left side, 85% of the time. Janoris Jenkins gave up 0.32 fantasy points last season. That's a solid matchup. Like, that's not good and it's not bad. So yes, can Hopkins definitely have his way? Yeah, sure. Like, can Hopkins have that 6 receptions, over like 100 yards and a touchdown? Yeah, sure. You know what I mean? Definitely. Because it's fucking DeAndre Hopkins. But that's not who I'm going with. Let's flip it around to the Tennessee Titans. And if you follow me on Twitter over at King Bezos, I actually tweeted this out yesterday. Julio Jones. Not A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is definitely one of the best receivers. He will have a really great matchup. Granted. You know what I mean? And also, A.J. Brown is one of the best receivers. But that's not who I'm going with. I'm going with Julio Jones. And I'm going to tell you why I'm actually going with Julio Jones. First of all, Julio Jones is 6'3". I believe I have he's... Where the hell is he at? He's 6'3". He's going up against a guy named Ronald Alford. Ronald Alford used to play for the Cardinals and the Falcons. I actually believe I have like that right. He was injured. Definitely was injured. So Ronald Alford's 5'10". Julio Jones is 6'3". And that Julio plays on the right side 30% of that time, and he's going to go up against Ronald Alford. Yikes. Real shit. I mean, hey, listen, like, you do the math. 6'3" versus 5'10". And he'll spend most of his time over on the left side, which is against that Marco Wilson. That's not any better. Marco Wilson's 6'1", but he's a rookie. Julio Jones versus a rookie? Holy shit! Sign me the fuck up, man! Sign me the fuck up with Julio Jones scoring a touchdown over in week 1. I swear, out of everybody in actually week 1, I'm truly excited about Julio Jones. And I tweeted this out the other day, and I see that the odds actually have changed. So when I tweeted out, Julio Jones was at a plus 105 for his touchdown odds. Then it went down to a plus 100. Guess where it's at now? Plus 120. Woo-wee! Plus 120 for Julio Jones to score a touchdown against 2 little ass cornerbacks that are horrible? Sign me the fuck up, please. That is the play of the week. Julio Jones. Listen, I don't care if you got $5,000. I would bet $5,000 on Julio Jones scoring a fucking touchdown in actually week 1, man. Oh my god, like, that shit is definitely going to hit, dude. This shit is definitely going to hit. And A.J. Brown, for his odds, they're at a minus 120. Like, there's no money made when it comes to that, though. But Julio Jones, man, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I mean, it's a perfect situation. He's, that healthy. He just has to score touchdowns. And, I'm sorry, he's definitely going to score touchdowns. And on top of that, they're going to have tons of targets open. Jonnu Smith, he ain't there no more. He's actually with the Patriots. Corey Davis left. He is actually with the Jets. Adam Humphries left. Adam Humphries over at Washington. So there's plenty of options, targets, whatever, to actually go around, be that between Julio, Brown, and then also with Derrick Henry. You know what I mean? So it's a perfect situation. Real shit. You really can't get any better with that. The next game is a very interesting game. The Philadelphia Eagles versus the Atlanta Falcons. Very interesting game. And I want to talk to you about Calvin Ridley. Now, anybody that knows me, they know that I love Calvin Ridley. Like, that is my guy, man. Like, that is my man's for real. I fuck with Calvin Ridley heavy. Real shit. He's a beast. Okay, even with Julio, he's a beast. Even without Julio, he's a beast. So he's primed to have a really big year. Now look, over at first, I said to myself, damn, Eagles had Darius Slay last year. You feel me? And like they just added Steven Nelson from Pittsburgh. I think that this is going to be a tough matchup. Wrong. Eagles were 16th versus the pass last season. They were 25th. 25th versus the wideouts. They're horrible. Real shit. And Ridley spends half of his routes over on the right side. He will see Steven Nelson. Steven Nelson gave up 0.39 fantasy points. When he goes over to the left side, he will be over there 38% of the time. He will see Darius Slay. 0.2 fantasy points for last year he actually gave up. When he goes to the slot, which is 11% of the time, he will face Vontae Maddox. 0.36 fantasy points against. So Calvin Ridley is in a prime spot to score a touchdown. Do I like Calvin Ridley to score a touchdown up in week 1? Yes. That is my man's. Real shit. I fuck with Calvin Ridley. I got Calvin Ridley over on my fantasy team. He's definitely scoring a touchdown for you over up in week 1. Bank it, cash that bitch the fuck in. Real shit. And also, Ridley's 6 feet. He also has a height advantage on Steven Nelson. It's 5'11". Darius Slay, 6 feet, so they're around the same. Darius Slay is getting kind of old anyway, so he's not at the same cornerback he used to be over out in Detroit. And Maddox is 5'9". Don't even stand a chance for real. So you're really just banking on for Matt Ryan to have that protection that he desperately needs just to give Calvin Ridley the ball. And I really do believe Calvin Ridley has a really great game, and the dude scores like a touchdown over up in week 1. So right now we actually got James Robinson, Robbie Anderson, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley. Those are my 4 guys for right now. I still got more. Okay. Everybody's been talking about Kyle Pitts, and believe it or not, I've never seen Kyle Pitts play. I've only seen just highlights. He looks good. Like, you know what I mean? Listen, he looks very good. And talking to like a few people that are Eagles fans, the Eagles don't have anybody that can match up with Pitts, that can line up with Pitts for real. Safeties are nowhere near compared to him, and they don't have any linebackers. Eagles never had any really good linebackers anyway. So Kyle Pitts is actually in a really good situation to actually really score a touchdown and to have a really good solid game. Let's flip it around over to I like Devonta Smith. Why do I like Devonta Smith? Well, first, he's a rookie. Nobody has tape on his ass. But Falcons were 32nd versus the pass. They were dead last versus the pass. They were fucking horrible. And the Falcons were 32 against wide receivers. So when you're dead last on the pass and you're dead last on wideouts, that is trouble. That is major trouble. And Devonta Smith, who is the former of the Heisman Trophy winner, and he has a connection with Jalen Hurts because they both went to the same school together and they both played with each other. So Smith has the speed. He just needs to bulk up a little bit. You feel me? Once he bulks up, he would probably be dominant. You feel me? But it's a terrific matchup. When he goes over to the right side, they don't have any stats on as to where he bees at most of the time, though, because why? He's a rookie. Rookies are not really going to have any, stats for the most part. But like when Smith lines up on the right side, he actually does have a little bit of a tough matchup with Fabian Moreau. 0.26 fantasy points he actually gave up. So it is a slight difficult matchup. But when he goes over to the left versus AJ Terrell, 0.42 fantasy points given up. That right there is a smash spot. That's a smash spot. And when Smith goes over to the slot, he will face Isaiah Oliver. He actually gave up 0.36 fantasy points last year. That's a good matchup. So yes, they're going to move Smith all around the formation throughout the field. So he's definitely going to have a really good game. And you know that the matchup's right, quarterback's right, up in my opinion. You know what I mean? And on top of that, you still got Jalen Hurts. Now, yeah, Jalen Hurts uses his legs a lot. He actually can bank in for a touchdown. I mean, shit, like that's how it is. If they get down over at the goal line, he can rush one in. I mean, shit, we actually have seen it before. You know what I mean? Take a shot. And I have him on my fantasy team. And this may sound weird, but Miles Sanders, like, I mean, yeah, with all of this hype of them having Kerryon Johnson and Jordan Howard and Boston Scott and then the rookie Kenneth Gainwell. Well, look, Jordan Howard, he ain't there no more. And Kerryon Johnson's not there anymore. So the goal line back is probably going to be Miles Sanders. And I understand that the Eagles got Nick Sanitary, whatever his fucking name is, and he's talking about, yeah, you know, man, like we're going to use a mini running back. Wrong. You don't use a committee. You don't use it. Go with Miles Sanders. Why? Bro, for the life of me, I just don't understand why Peterson and this new coach, they don't want to work Miles Sanders. I mean, shit, he's a good running back. It's not ass. You know what I mean? Now I get it. He has struggled with drops over in the preseason. You know what I mean? But hey, Miles Sanders definitely will correct that. He actually will. And I understand that the Falcons were really good on the run last year. Like, they were really good. They were 8th best versus the run. And they ranked 6th best versus running back. So this is a tough matchup. But I'm actually banking on for the Eagles' offensive line, which is fully healthy than it has ever been. It is fully healthy over up in week 1. And yeah, Falcons, they got an alright little the offensive line. They got a few little linebackers, you know what I mean? But I think that the Eagles' offensive line can actually beat the Falcons' defense. So I actually like Sanders to probably punch in a touchdown just to take a shot. You know what I mean? You just actually never know. You know what I mean? Another take a shot is Mike Davis. Eagles were the 25th at versus the run, and they were 13th versus running back, so they were about average. What makes the Eagles good on the defensive front is actually like their line. When you got Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, that Hargrove, and I'm forgetting somebody else too. You know what I mean? But their linebackers really aren't that good, and neither are their safeties. So if Matt Ryan's throwing short passes, he could throw it to Mike Davis, and Mike Davis can actually catch the ball really, really well. He can burn one of the linebackers and actually possibly get in for a touchdown. You know what I mean? But all in all, Calvin Ridley is my guy to like definitely go with for a touchdown. And also on that right underneath him is definitely Kyle Pitts and Devonta Smith. The next game we're going to talk about is the LA Chargers and the Washington football team. Now, this one is definitely going to be interesting. I'll be at this game Sunday, so I'm going to see as to what this game is actually all about. Let's go with the Washington team and Antonio Gibson. Now, I like Antonio Gibson to actually definitely score a touchdown. I actually like that. When I looked at the other Chargers defense, they don't have Melvin Ingram anymore. They don't have Denzel Perryman, who was one of their good linebackers last season. And all they have is Joey Bosa. Now, yeah, Joey Bosa, he got hurt last year, but he's still one of the best pass rushers throughout the entire league. But Chargers were 22nd versus the run, and they were average. They were 15th versus running backs. And Antonio Gibson's running behind one of the best offensive lines over in football. So can Gibson score a touchdown? Yeah. Gibson is a good running back. He's a good pass catching back. And on top of that, he has already said he actually wants to be like Christian McCaffrey. He actually wants to get that 2,000 scrimmage yards. You know what I mean? And I think personally he can actually get it. I actually really do believe so. You feel me? And the Chargers defense, up in my opinion, will be weak. For yeah, sure. They got Derwin James back. Derwin James is one of the best safeties, but that the problem is that the dude hasn't played in about 2 years. The dude has gotten hurt. He hasn't played. So we don't know as to how he is actually going to look for you know what I mean? So I like Gibson to definitely score a touchdown. And on top of that they had Peyton Barber in the preseason and they cut his ass. He's out. So Gibson's going to be like the fucking goal line back. You know what I mean? So I like Gibson to definitely score a touchdown. Now, one of my favorite plays. This is my favorite play. Definitely one of my favorite plays. I like Gibson, and I struggle either between Gibson or one of my favorites, Terry McLaurin. Woo! Listen, I'm about to tell you some shit about Terry McLaurin. Okay? First of all, Chargers were 12th versus the pass. The Chargers were 5th versus wideouts. Now, I get it. Chargers, it looks like they was good over on defense for the pass. Okay, fine. They don't have Casey Hayward Jr. anymore. He's going. The dude signed with the Las Vegas Raiders, so he is out. Okay. Terry McLaurin, blazing fast, young. His quarterback, Ryan Fitzpatrick. And what does Fitzpatrick really love to do? Throw the ball deep. And what does Terry McLaurin actually like to do? Well, he likes to throw the ball. He likes to catch the ball deep. That's what the fuck he likes to do. Pause, because that's not on no freak type shit. So pause off of that, though. Real shit. But Terry McLaurin is in a prime spot to definitely score. I'm going to tell you why. Terry McLaurin will be on the right side 23% of the time. He is actually going up against Mike Davis. That's a solid matchup. Davis gave up 0.30 fantasy points. That's a solid matchup. McLaurin can definitely beat that. This is when it gets really good. He will be on the left side 45% of the time. And who is he going up against? A fucking rookie. Whew. If you haven't learned anything from this video, you need to learn. Any receiver going up against a rookie cornerback, and that receiver already has experience in the league, you play that motherfucker. Why do you think I love Robbie Anderson? Why do you think I love that Julio Jones? You gotta love Terry McLaurin for this week, because when he goes to that left-hand side, he is going to burn the shit out of Asante Samuel Jr., who actually is a rookie. And this ain't his dad playing, this is his son. That's a bad matchup. And then McLaurin also goes to the slot 31% of the time. He will be playing against Chris Harris. Now, at first, I said to myself, Chris Harris, he's a good cornerback. You know what I mean? He ain't ass, you know what I mean? Coming from Denver, he actually is pretty good. Wrong. Chris Harris gave up 0.43 fantasy points last season to the wide receiver. Are you kidding me? Chris Harris really was good over on Denver, but when he came here to the Chargers, he's totally ass. And who actually can exploit that? Terry fucking McLaurin. He can definitely expose all three of those cornerbacks. So I love Terry McLaurin. So yes, you can add Terry McLaurin to my list. James Robinson, Robbie Anderson, that Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Terry McLaurin, definitely. Now, I thought about this, and this was before any news broke. Austin Eckler. I would say take a shot on Austin Eckler, but he's dealing with a hamstring injury, and I had him on my fantasy team, and that hurts me because I fuck with Austin Eckler so much, man. Man, that's my man's though too. But It's funny though, because Washington has a really good defense, but last year Washington ranked 16 versus the run, and they were fourth against running backs. But like they struggled with running backs that can also catch the ball. And what does Austin Eckler actually like to do? He actually likes to catch the ball. You feel me? So he's dealing with a hamstring injury. I'm not even sure if he is even going to play. Even if he plays, I'm not going with him. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't really like anybody on the Chargers. Like, not for this week. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Keenan Allen has a solid matchup, but, you know, he just gets the yards. He doesn't really get touchdowns. So I actually think that it's going to be kind of difficult for the Chargers to definitely score a ton of points. This right here could be like a low scoring game for the most part. I actually really do think so. But yeah, Terry McLaurin, man, and also Antonio Gibson. But I'm really big on for that Terry, man. Definitely have a really big game, and I got him for my fantasy team too. Next game, I'm shying away from is the 49ers and the Lions. Now, I mean, Lions just horrible on the pass and on the run. I mean, just altogether, just the organization is just terrible, honestly. Like, everybody's saying that Raheem Mostert. I like Raheem Mostert, man. I mean, you know, the only thing is he just has to stay healthy. Lions were 28 versus the run. Lions were dead last, 32 versus running backs. As long as Mostert stays healthy, man, Mostert can be like a top 15 running back, man. That dude has big play upside, man. I mean, you know, shit, he can take a 60-yard run to the house. You feel me? They got Trey Sermon backing him up. It's actually week one. As I said, you go with your starters and your stars. You don't try to get cute. You know what I mean? Mostert, I actually do think he actually will score a touchdown. Brandon Ayuk has a terrific matchup all across the board. I mean, on the right side, he'll be over there at 27% of the time. I don't know how to say this cornerback's name, but I can tell you, the dude gave up 0.32 fantasy points last season. That's a solid matchup. And the dude just might give up more for this season because the dude is really not that good. You know what I mean? He actually will spend most of his time playing against Jeff Okudah, who was a rookie last year. He got hurt last year too. Ayuk spends 50% over on the left side. And Okudah was god-awful. 0.51 fantasy points last season. I mean, just my god-awful. You feel me? So, expect for Ayuk to definitely take advantage. And when Ayuk goes over to the slot, 23% of the time, what have I told you? What is the theme of this video? You always start wideouts that have experience versus a rookie. It's playing against AJ Parker, who was a rookie. Oh my god. Listen, if I'm the fucking Lions, I'm putting as many niggas as I can over in that slot position to guard Ayuk, because when he goes to that slot, you might really just bank on a fucking 50-yard bomb touchdown to him. Real shit, because ain't none of them corners can actually compete with that Brandon Ayuk. George Kittle. George Kittle is coming off an injury. He was probably going to be one of the best tight ends last year anyway. He actually still is one of the best tight ends anyway. I mean, if you want to debate between him and Darren Waller, sure. Yeah, I mean, but the Lions were 8th last year versus tight ends. They were 8th, which was very interesting to me. I found it to be pretty interesting. But this is George Kittle. They're playing in a dome. He's probably going to score for a touchdown. Honestly, I'm fading this game because you got Mostert, Sermon, Ayuk, Kittle, and even 49ers defense that can all score touchdowns. You know what I mean? So you're really banking on for Ayuk to really catch a long ball touchdown. You're waiting on for Kittle to get like a red zone catch. And we know the 49ers that they love to run the ball. You feel me? So you're banking on for Mostert to probably break like a long ass run. Maybe get a goal line carry. Or if maybe they decide to put in Trey Sermon in at the goal line, that could be a bitch. Or if they just happen to just run a play, and if Sermon's in, and if Sermon busts out for like a fucking 30-yard run touchdown, that's actually going to be a bitch too. You know, so it's so many different avenues that the 49ers can like definitely go to. And then this game is supposed to be a blowout anyway. Like, I don't really target blowout games for the most part. Really don't. You know, on the flip side, Lions, it ain't nobody on the Lions, man. I mean, same thing with the Texans and the Jets. Just don't choose any of these guys, man. I mean, DeAndre Swift, he has talent, but nah, that ain't it. Terrell Williams, fuck no. The only person I could probably say that could score, and I mean, the likelihood of him scoring is, I don't know, but it's Armanius, or I think it's Armonis St. Brown. He looks very promising, honestly. He looks very, very promising. But just fade all Lions, man. You know what I mean? Like, just fade the Lions. I'm not picking anybody on any side here. But I wanted to talk about this game too, because it's a lot of great matchups, and there's so many different avenues, ways you can definitely go to. The next game is Seattle and the Colts. Now, shout out to my man Zay, because Zay is a Colts fan, and also shout out, man, to my man's B, who's an Eagles fan. And you know, we all made a bet on as to what teams are going to have the better season. I'm a Giants fan, B's an Eagles fan, and of course Zay's a Colts fan. So, you know, God, Colts and Eagles, man, horrible. And this game ain't going to be any different. Fade all Colts. Real shit. Just fade all Colts for this game. T.Y. Hilton, old, got a neck injury. He's going to be out for like the next 3 games. I mean, if you like Jonathan Taylor, and if you really think that, you know, Seattle's run defense isn't going to be good, then hey, go with Taylor. But you're going to have to throw the ball. I'm not a Carson Wentz believer, man. I mean, I don't care if you got Frank right over there. It's not going to matter if you don't have any weapons. You actually can't score if you don't have weapons. You know what I mean? He actually does have one of the best offensive lines. But I don't really think that's really going to matter. For Seattle's side, Chris Carson was somebody that I looked at. I would say he's more of a take a shot. And only because Carson is playing against the second best run defense, and the Colts were 12th versus running backs. Carson will get goal line carries. He also has proved he is a good pass catcher. So could he break one? Yeah, sure. He also is playing in a dome. I actually remember last year in the first game versus the Falcons, I actually believe Carson scored a touchdown on the Falcons, and it was a pass. I actually believe so. That was that team that he played against up in week 1. And the Colts really have Darius Leonard, so I think Darius Leonard is actually really going to be on Carson for the most part. The receivers is very interesting, and I struggle too, because I actually want to play both of these guys. I actually really do, but you really don't know. Colts were at 20th versus the pass, and they were 18th versus wideouts. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Now, if I had to choose, I would go with DK Metcalf. To me, Metcalf is like the premier target for Russell Wilson. But when I looked at the stats, Metcalf kind of starts off slow in the beginning, but then towards the end of the season, he actually normally picks up. Whereas Tyler Lockett starts early, and then he kind of slows down towards the end of the season. But Metcalf, he will be on the right side 31% of the times playing against Xavier Rhodes. Now, yes, it's a tough matchup because Rhodes gives up 0.200 fantasy points. That's a tough matchup. But looking at the height, Metcalf is 6'3", Rhodes is 6 feet, so there is a height disadvantage. But I think Metcalf can get the Rhodes. This is a smash spot right here. When Metcalf goes over to the left side, he will be on the left side 51% of the time, he actually will face Rock Ya-Sin. Rock Ya-Sin gave up 0.41 fantasy points last year. Smash spot for DK fucking Metcalf, man. Real shit. He should be able to kill Rock Ya-Sin. And also that Rock Ya-Sin is actually only 6 feet, so he's undersized too. And when Metcalf goes into the slot, because he does play in the slot, but it's only 17% of the time, he will play against 5'9" Kenny Moore. Come on, really? A 5'9" versus a 6'3" guy? Horrible, man. Kenny Moore gave up 0.36 fantasy points last year. So all around, it's a good matchup for DK Metcalf. Like, it's not a bad matchup. It's a good matchup for him to score. I like him to score, but I'm probably not going to play him, though. Probably not. Tyler Lockett is somebody who I do like to score, but I will not play him. But Lockett spends 61% of his time in the slot, and he will play against Moore. And, as I said, Moore gave up 0.36 fantasy points. So, yes, I like Metcalf and Lockett to score. You know what I mean? But they're not on my radar to say, yeah, I really got to go with these guys. You know what I mean? Like, no, like they're not on my own radar. For the most part, I see the Seahawks like just winning this game, like just dominating the game. And who knows, Seahawks defense could probably get a sack, fumble, pick six. You know what I mean? So, like that defense is actually always liable to also score too. The next game is the Vikings and the Cincinnati Bengals. Woo! Listen here. Now, you could go either way. Now, first, I'm going to tell you this now. Fade Bengals. Fade all Bengals. Okay? Bengals, their offense is good. They got Burrow back coming off of the ACL injury. That they have Tyler Boyd. They have T. Higgins. They have Joe Mixon. And they got newly drafted Jamar Chase. Okay, but for the Vikings defense, Vikings actually added Dalvin Thompson. That's a defensive tackle. He used to play for the New York Giants. He's a very good run stopper. You know what I mean? Vikings have really good linebackers. The Vikings added Patrick Peterson and also Shard Breeland up in free agency. And they got really good safeties too. So the Vikings this year will have a really good defense. Honestly, better than what it was last year, because the Vikings, they were horrible last year. Or over on the defensive side. So fade the Bengals. I'm not sold on the Bengals. Not in this game. Definitely not up in this game. For the Vikings, you already know. Dalvin Cook. Bengals 29th versus the run. Bengals 22nd versus running backs. I mean, the Bengals lost Carl Lawson over to the Jets up in free agency. And also, speaking of Carl Lawson for the Jets, he's out for the year. The dude is done. You feel me? So you gotta wait till next year. You know what I mean? The Bengals don't have any linebackers that can compete with Dalvin Cook, man. I mean, they're gonna be bad once again over on the run. I love Dalvin Cook, man. And that's my man's, because I had him last year. So I love Dalvin Cook. So, yes, you can add Dalvin Cook to my list. As long as a lot of his odds are alright, he's definitely going to smash for a touchdown. Like, that's guaranteed, for real. But here is where, like, the real value lies at. It's the pass catchers. And, yes, I understand Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson does have a good matchup. But Adam Thielen, that is the pass catcher to roster. Everybody's going to target Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson. Great. You know what I mean? As they should. But you can't forget about Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen was actually one of the best touchdown makers last season. And a lot of people say he is going to regress on his touchdowns. That's fine. You know what I mean? We're actually not worried about that. We're actually worried about week 1. That's all we're worried about. And let me tell you, on the right side, he will be on the right side 46% of the time. He will go against Adobe Awuzie. And Awuzie is coming from Dallas. Dallas was horrible last year over on the pass. And Awuzie gave up 0.41 fantasy points last year. smash spot, horrible spot for Aduzier because he's going to get killed on that versus the Adam Thielen. Found out throughout the week, Bengals, they will not have cornerback Trey Waynes. Trey Waynes is out for actually this week, so they're going to slot in Eli Apple. Eli Apple, I believe, came from the New Orleans Saints. He wasn't that good anyway. That's just my opinion. Just wasn't that good. So he'll probably play the left side. You know what I mean? He should dominate Eli Apple. And when Thielen goes into the slot, now this is where it does get kind of dicey. He'll be in the slot 26% of the time. He will face Mike Hilton. Mike Hilton's coming from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he gave up 0.24 fantasy points. Now, that's a tough matchup for Thielen, but I think Thielen does score a touchdown for week one. And if you want to talk about Justin Jefferson is actually in a smash spot, but this is interesting. Justin Jefferson spends a lot more time over in the slot, 31%, versus Adam Thielen, which is only 26%. So that's interesting. You know what I mean? So if Jefferson is actually in the slot, you're going to have Adam Thielen on the outside, whether it's on the right side or on the left side. Thielen should be able to definitely smash. If I had to pick between Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen, I'm going to go with Thielen, but I'm right there with Dalvin Cook. They're neck and neck. And once again, let me see if they even have that up, because the odds weren't up for that, and no, they don't have that up for that. And let me check a few more odds for you guys, because I'm still waiting for a lot of these odds to show up, and they're just not coming up yet, man. So probably gotta wait till tomorrow. Yeah, they're not up. Probably gotta wait till tomorrow for that stuff. Probably. Hopefully they come up today so I can have that stuff out to you guys. You know what I mean? But Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, they're all in smash spots, man. I mean, it's just going to be terrible for what they're going to do to the Bengals. You know what I mean? So that's it for the games that I actually went after. Most of the games that I target really start at 1 o'clock. You know what I mean? I don't really target too much of the 4 o'clock games. Honestly, I actually normally target everything that's at the over at that 1 o'clock games. But just a few notes that I want to give to you guys in the Browns and the Chiefs game, which would be at 4. Travis Kelce. I mean, shit, why not, right? Travis Kelce's always guaranteed to score a touchdown. The Browns were they were at 23rd versus the pass, and they were 30th versus tight ends. And last year in the AFC Championship game, that Kelce torched them. That's 11 targets and 8 catches and 109 yards and a touchdown. And I dug deeper. Back in 2018, in week 4, he had 9 targets, 7 catches, 99 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So yes, history saying go with Travis Kelce. Am I putting Travis Kelce on my ticket? Definitely. Probably so. You know what I mean? I don't, even though that game starts at 4, Travis Kelce will probably be on my ticket, man, because he's so much guaranteed, man. I mean, he's a beast. I got him on my fantasy team. I'm expecting for him to definitely score. Take a shot on the Brown side, Austin Hooper. Now, last year, Austin Hooper signed a massive contract with the Browns. They didn't use him much last year. You know what I mean? Kevin Stefanski really likes to run the ball. But Stefanski says this year he actually will want to use Austin Hooper more because they paid him all of this money. Why pay a guy all of this money and you're not even going to use him? That actually doesn't even make sense. So, that Baker Mayfield and also that Hooper, that they have a really good a connection together, and that even though that the Chiefs were 11th versus the pass, they were 26 versus tight ends, And Austin Hooper can be a red zone threat. Now, yes, I understand you would think Jarvis Landry and Kareem Hunt and the Odell, they would be in prime spots. But it's really a bad matchup for the receivers, because last year that the Chiefs were really good on the pass, and I'm talking about really good on the pass. You know what I mean? So this is a tough matchup for them. So I think that you could take a shot on Austin Hooper to actually definitely be able to score you a week 1 touchdown. When I looked at the Packers and the Saints game, there may be some rain, and I need to check for all these weather updates too for Sunday too, because weather really does play a huge part in over on that these picks and shit. I did like Marquez Valdez-Scantling to definitely take a shot on, and Robert Tonyan. The Saints were 13th versus tight ends last year. Like, they were pretty solid to go up against, and they're not playing in the Superdome. You know what I mean? Like, they're playing over in Jacksonville. So I think that the Heat's probably going to get to the Saints players. I really do think so, because it gets hot down there. I understand James is actually used to playing in Florida anyway, but they don't have any weapons other than Alvin Kamara. But I think Robert Tonyan's definitely, I actually think though personally, he actually can score a touchdown. It's definitely going to be a red zone threat either way. That Aaron Rodgers trusts him. Scantling is interesting because Marshawn Lattimore is going to shadow Devontae Adams, and that rightfully so. You know what I mean? Rightfully so. So that takes care of that. There is no Ken Crawley over on the Saints. He is injured. I believe he's out for like the next couple of games. I actually saw it online, but I can't remember as to what it was. I believe he got hurt. He actually got hurt, so I think he's out like the next six to 8 games, somewhere around there. So right now that they did trade for Bradley Roby, so the Saints do have Bradley Roby. I believe Bradley Roby was actually pretty good. But let's just say if Bradley Roby doesn't play because he isn't familiar with the playbook, Scantling is going to be on the left side 32% of the time. It's going against a rookie. I don't need to keep harping on that. You know what I mean? You should already know as to what happens to rookie cornerbacks going up against experienced wideouts. You know what I mean? And also Scantling also plays in the slot 32% of the time, and he will go up against a guy named Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. You don't know who you actually don't know as to who he is. Neither do I. He's a bum. Because why? He gave up 0.33 fantasy points last season. That's a good matchup. So Scantling is somebody you can take a shot on. Real shit. You just need to find out if that Bradley Roby's playing or not. You know what I mean? And if he's not playing, fire up Scantling, because I like Scantling to definitely take a shot. Other than that, it's the 2 night games for Sunday night. I don't need to talk about that though, because I'll talk about that later on. I actually will post some shit up on my that Twitter page, and also on the Instagram page for that, and also for like the Monday night game. But I'll just give you the two names that I do like. Cooper Kupp versus the Bears Sunday night. I'll have stats for you when it comes to him. And I like Mark Andrews on that Monday night playing against the Raiders, and I'll have stats for you for that too. That's it. That's all that I have. So let's actually recap. We got James Robinson, Robbie Anderson, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Terry McLaurin, Travis Kelce, and Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, either one. I probably will go with Adam Thielen for the most part. You know what I mean? So that's 7 guys that I gave you. Those are definitely 7 good locks that I really do like to that score a touchdown. To see all of my picks, you will have to wait up on Sunday. That picks normally come out Sunday after 11:30 because I want to be able to see as to who the actives and the inactives are. And yeah, if you like as to what you heard, you actually like the that content, definitely smash that like button. Actually, there to subscribe, comment to, follow me on at Twitter and on the Instagram. Yeah, that's King Bezos. That's KINGBEZOS. Always active on that joint. Send me a DM. Also, too, if you don't have a Fanduel Sportsbook account and you want to sign up for it, message me either on Twitter. You can comment either on YouTube or DM me even on the Instagram. Comment me and DM me only because I actually can send you my link. You can sign up, create like your own account for free. You know what I mean? You actually put in that $10 and we both can get that $50 each. You know what I mean? So that helps me out and that helps you out. You know what I mean? So it works. You know what I mean? Definitely DM me if you actually don't have a FanDuel Sportsbook account. I can help you. You know what I mean? We can both get free money from FanDuel. Other than that, guys, I actually really thank you. Definitely appreciate you. Definitely for listening. And I actually will give you a lot more football content every single week. You know what I mean? I actually will say it will be some weeks where I will just have one play for you. You know what I mean? The other times I actually may have three plays for you too. You know what I mean? Everything all depends on just the matchups and actually just the games played too. You know what I mean? So any other extra news, like just look at my Instagram, Twitter, and listen, I'm actually trying to help people get this bread because we trying to run up the millions just like Jeff Bezos. You feel me? You know what I mean? So I'm signing out. And definitely good luck to everybody out there that is actually using my picks. Even that's not even using my picks. You know what I mean? And on top of that, any picks that I'm playing, and if y'all playing that same exact Jones, y'all win, then I win. Then we both win. You know what I mean? If I happen to lose, damn, that sucks. You know what I mean? But hey, it is as to what it is. So it ain't like that I'm hiding picks from y'all. Any picks, I'm showing you guys that I'm playing. You know what I mean? So you guys are actually definitely good to go. Definitely enjoy doing all the research. Definitely enjoy making all of this content for you guys. Definitely not going to be the last time. You know what I mean? So until next week, deuces.